I'm Headwound, and we're just gonna sit here and talk for a little bit. I have to get ready to go. I am not gonna be streaming uh, besides just this video for this morning. I have to head out, and I'm helping a friend unconstruct an outside sun room and some other things in preparation for them to sell uh, the place that this is at. And I seem to have lost my napkins. Got 'em. So I'm just going to have some coffee. We're going to chill. We'll talk about the week, talk about what's coming up, all of this stuff. Let's see. So the week with work, totally not busy. Well, busy and not busy. We did actually see process, hey, game veteran, from something we were doing that we were blocked on. Come to find out, it's a deeper issue than we thought. So imagine somebody telling you, hey, you know how that road that you used to drive on? We have a new road over here. And it's fancy. And you could drive on it. But you know how you used to be able to drive on that road over there, and you used to be able to go as fast as you wanted. In fact, the more that you could upgrade your vehicle, the faster you could go. And no one cared. Now imagine in this new road that you're now limited to 50 miles an hour. And no matter how much you upgrade, they won't let you go 50 miles an hour. In fact, they tell you that if you upgrade your vehicle and your vehicle goes more than 50 miles an hour, you can't go on this road. You used to be able to go whatever you wanted to on the old road, and now your vehicle is maybe capable of doing, let's say, 100 miles an hour. They now tell you, I'm sorry, but unless you remove all those mods from your vehicle and make sure that it goes a only maximum of 50 miles an hour, you can't go on my road. Well, that's what we were just told this last week. We were told by this application provider that because of the size, they have a limit in their infrastructure for the downloadable attachments to 50 gigabytes. The company has 70 gigabytes worth of attachments in their infrastructure currently. This company has said, I'm sorry, but we can't fit you. And this is the company that is in charge of this specific application in this environment. So we all looked at each other and said, what? So now we're trying to figure out how we're going to fit a 70 gigabyte platform into a 50 gigabyte infrastructure. And what we may have to give up. Okay. Tier 3 structure. Household Gambriel 03. Okay. Let me write that down. because that's important. And by the way, I was correct. There are different POIs based on the environment. So woodland, desert, burnt wasteland, or burnt lands and wastelands. I think that's the name. So, all right. So it's a level 3. Level 3. And it is the house. Old. Embryo. 03. Okay, cool. Cool. Now we have the documented. So there's going to be no game content stream today, but I did want to talk about just a couple of things just to get us, going and caught up. The work thing was one of them. The other thing is the news that's been going around all the tech channels on YouTube. And basically this is it. EVGA ditches NVIDIA. EVGA will no longer do business with NVIDIA. EVGA terminates an NVIDIA contract. What does that mean? Hold on a second. I gotta take care of this. So I read into this in different ways. I think the main thing is that NVIDIA is putting themselves in a position where they're going to be they're offering their own hardware, and I suspect that time to stretch. Hey, thank you. Let me just do this. Severo, what's up, man? All hail. No stream today besides just some face-to-face talk. Talking about news. I need to actually leave in about 15 minutes to go and help a friend with some deconstruction of a portion of their house or a house in preparation to be sold. So I'm all dressed in heavy clothes. I got jeans on for once. I'm going to be wearing some heavy shoes. So every time I see your tabs, I think my PC cries. Oh, actually, let's do this. Here. Hold on a second. There, does that make you feel better? I do that. I because I have other people who like it OCD like that. Yep. Okay. Now, so I'll be leaving in a few minutes, or at least stopping the stream so I can get ready, because I need to bring work gloves, a hammer, a pry bar. I'm bringing a circular, a hand circular saw. Bringing rope. And then masks, so I don't breathe in all this crap and asbestos and whatever. I probably should bring us. You know what? Thinking about bringing a long sleeve shirt also. You know what I'll do? I'll bring an overshirt, like a flannel or something like that, like an older one or something. That way, like if I'm having to carry around stuff that has like fiberglass or something like that, it's not going to get directly on my skin. Yeah. Okay. EVGA leaving their partnership with NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been, at least for the last few iterations, doing Founders Editions. And originally, I've always thought that this was NVIDIA's way to make a little money early on before the AIOs for, their product launches, for their um, graphic processing launches. Well, with the pandemic and with the shortage of GPUs because of crypto mining and everything like that, it felt like NVIDIA was trying to regain money by setting restrictions on their competitors. EVGA, MSI, Gigabyte, Asus, all of these things, and saying basically you can't add additional features. You can't add an additional processor that does this feature. You can't add, additional, you can't trick it out so that you can add additional power and like overclock and stuff like that. And that's not to the death, but they're getting to that point where they're going to say you can't do anything and that's it. So it basically, and what they're doing is if you look at like the different websites that sell these graphics cards, whether it be, a Best Buy or Newegg or, Amazon or whatever, the NVIDIA Founders Edition cards are cheaper than the other cards, the EVGAs, the MSIs, because there is an overhead to the cost for these companies to make a card that has their design, has their specific cooling methodology, has their specific layout as far as like what it looks like and how many slots in your PC it will take up. And so there's the engineering costs, and there's the remanufacturing, and there's all of this that is involved that goes beyond what the Founders Edition would, and the main thing would be. Yeah, yeah. Love Fab Rats. Love Fab Rats. Um, so it's always been a struggle for them, a balance between what they offer, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to outdo that other AIO, NVIDIA, I'm sorry, MSI, EVGA, Asus, Gigabyte. They're all trying to outdo each other to bring in the customer and say, hey, look, we offer more VRAM. We offer overclockability. We offer better cooling. We offer water cooling options like as default, these type of things. And so we get into this, like they're trying to find the features that fall in line with NVIDIA's contracts and restrictions for what they can and can't do with their reference boards. and it's becoming unprofitable, or it's becoming to a point where they may be able to do some of these other things, but the cost that it ends up being for them to do these additional things means that they have to price their cards at a higher price than the reference boards or the founders editions that Nvidia releases. So finally EVGA is like, screw it. The margin between these is non-existent. We're trying to keep in this market. Nvidia is making it harder, putting bigger restrictions. It's not going to stop. Let's get rid of that portion of the business. They'll still support the cards that they produced. We don't know for how long, but they're still holding inventory of, like, so if you say you need to RMA a part or replace a piece or something like that, they do have it available. Time to fly? Yeah, Andreas, absolutely. So now they still have a tremendous market space, and very profitable also. They have their motherboards, they have their power supplies, they have memory and all these other things that are PC components that are not graphics cards that they have. Now I don't know the depth of, like, I'm not going to research like how much they're making in each department type of thing, but it's blatantly clear that if it's like any other business, if you're bleeding cash out of one portion of the business and it's not going to get better, you dump that portion of the business and you focus on what's being profitable. Now, does that mean that EVGA is out of the graphics industry entirely? I don't know. I've been all team AMD for years and years, but sadly it's hard to get to admit that NVIDIA cards are just simply better. So that's a tricky one for me. I find, in my experience, that NVIDIA cards and the features that they offer are more widely supported within software and hardware industries. So for me, that is my key of why I went to NVIDIA over and over and over again. It's not because I believe that they are faster. I believe that AMD and NVIDIA are about right on par with each other. Some are going to be better performers than this, some are being better performance than that, and so forth and so on. But it comes down to, when I'm doing the things that I want to do, that I want to be successful in, which is doing, doing my stream every once in a while, making sure that I have the features on my computer that I want when I play my games, that type of thing. I just want to make sure I have a flawless experience. And NVIDIA has always ensured us throughout its generations that it will at least be portionally backward compatible, so that when you go from, your 1060 to a 3060 or 3080, that the drivers are going to be compatible enough where you can just plug it in and it will work. Now AMD is the same way. They are backwards compatible. You shove in a new card, it's still going to work with the drivers as long as they're newer, because they support the newer boards. But it's, again, the software, it's the encoding, it's all these other specialty features. Now that is starting to change. So it ultimately means that I support EVGA in their decision. I support any of these manufacturers' decisions to leave the NVIDIA marketplace or market share in support of other brands. AMD, hell, even Intel and Arc. Now, Intel and Arc are so, beginner right now. They have years before that would happen. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely, Andreas. The industry needs um they need that. They need that uh a company to come in and challenge them, to offer something that others don't, and force the industry to really look at the features that they offer and what they're thinking about as future offerings, and challenge each other. We take a look at like the CPU industry, and AMD and Intel battling it out with each other for so long. And, finally, recently, AMD came out with some amazing CPUs that really kind of shamed the Intel brand. Now, will I automatically take that as I'm going to move over to AMD from Intel, which I'm currently on? Again, it comes down to compatibility with what I want to do and everything. So, yeah. So I support EVGA. I think it's an awesome move. I hope that one more AIO, whether it be a Gigabyte, an Asus, or MSI, or someone else, were to tell NVIDIA, you know what, I'm done. See ya. This is a great opportunity also for Intel and AMD to schmooze one of these companies like EVGA and give them incentives to go over to their platform. I think it's too early for that to happen, but there may already be talks. Who knows? Who knows? So, and maybe this is a move for EVGA as a technology company to maybe start developing their own thing. Don't know. Let's say quite disappointed with the EVGA quality in recent years. They cover a lot of things. They cover motherboards, power supplies, RAM. I think they also do drives and some other things. They obviously make kind of like water cooling solutions, things like that. But this does give them the opportunity to say, you know what, all those engineers that were working in our graphics department, I want you to go over here and I want you to innovate and I want you to drive things forward. I heard from, I think it was Jay's 2 cents, who talked about that they have a really good power supply set, piece of their business, and that they're really working on the quality of that, and that specifically is, now I don't know which EVGA quality you're talking about, whether it's the graphics cards or something else, but I know that like their platinum series of power supplies are like top notch type of things. Okay, technology discussions aside, I need to head out. I'm going to go help a friend deconstruct their place, and then I will come back tomorrow and do the stream. So enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one. I did set up my 7 days so that when we get into the world, we'll have like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of talk, and then we are into the Horde day. So we got maybe a half an hour before the next Horde night. I am planning to bump up the number of zombies per uh per people, per me. So yeah, stick around, it should be a fun one. All right guys, enjoy your Saturday. Nice, Hal. All right, dudes.